Hello there, today's January 22nd and I'm going to be planting some onion seeds today. So I have some Walla Walla onion and some red burgundy onion. These are better stores than these, so I want a little bit of both. These are nice and sweet onions. I'll show you how I do it. It's pretty successful method. Sowing onions by seeds will produce a much larger onion than sowing them by the little onion sets that you can get in the store. And the reason is, these are planted midsummer, pulled out in the fall, and then stored, kept dormant, to be planted again in the springtime. And onions grow depending on the length of sunlight hours per day. So when you get to the summer solstice, if they've had a lot of time, the longer time they've had to grow by that summer solstice time, the bigger onion bulb you're going to get. And so it's January, mid-January, and I'm going to be planting these. I cannot get these out into my soil until probably around here, May, because we get a lot of rain, so it's very moist. These can't get as big. The seeds, I'm going to plant them indoors, and then I'm going to keep them in a window. I might need to put them under a light depending on how much room I have in the room, how much room I have in the big sunny space that I have in the south facing window. If I don't have enough room, I'll just put them under a grow light, or even stick them outside on days where it's not really wet and stormy, so that, because it's not too cold here. We don't get freezing very often, so the onions will be fine. I grow long day onions. So there's three kinds. There's long day onions that need to have at least 14 hours a day of sunlight to produce the nice size bulbs. If you live in part of the world where you have shorter days, like 10 to 12 hours, then you need short day onions. And in that zone in between, there's neutral day onions that can go either way. But I've got long day onions because I live more north. And so let me show you how I plant these guys. So I've got these little pots that are already pretty wet, and I have them sitting in water because I want these to stay pretty moist. And I'm going to sprinkle a bunch of seed in each of these pots, and then as it grows up, I'll wait till it's about 4 to 6 inches tall, and then I'll pull them out and separate them when it's time for me to put them in the garden. I started these about 10 days ago, and right now I only have one up, and these trays were completely loaded full of seed. So let me get the seeds out and get started. So I'm taking this entire pack, just probably 300 seeds or so, and planting them in these 3 pots. So I'm going to just be planting them pretty thickly throughout these pots. They're going to grow super dense. Some of them won't germinate, and then the ones that are wimpier, I probably just won't plant. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the pots. I don't have a nice clear top for this, like these seedling trays come with. They come up with a little clear pot to put on top, but I don't have a clear top for this one. So I'm just gonna put some vermiculite on top of each of these. Not a lot, just enough to cover it, like a 1/4 inch maybe. And then I'm gonna spray them down, and it should help keep the soil moist, because onions take a while to germinate, and until they germinate we need to keep them moist, not let them get dried out, and they should sprout eventually within a 2-week time frame. So I'm just going to spray these down really well. And then once they sprout and start growing, I'll do another update and let you guys see. And then when I take them out and get ready to transplant them, I'll show you that they really are easy to separate from the roots. They don't have a ton of roots, and they don't tend to get all intertwined and be a mess. So that's it. That's about how I plant an entire pack of onions. I also have this Walla Walla pack, and the 3 containers over here were Walla Walla. I'm gonna plant some more though, because these trays right here, it got a little neglected, I think. Now there's not quite as many Walla Walla seeds. Oops, I saw a couple sprinkle over into the red. They'll be easy to tell what is what though from the colors. So these aren't going to be quite as dense once they're done germinating, because there's just not as many seeds in the pack. Put these on top, spread it under. Now the onion sets, I tend to just get more like a big green onion when I plant them where I'm at. And it's because the soil here has a lot of clay in it, and it retains a lot of water, and so we have to wait till those April showers that bring May flowers have died down and the water table's down enough that the soil gets dried out and we're able to plant them. And so I just don't have a long enough season for them to grow nice big onion tops. And what I have noticed is that the bigger the bulb does not mean the bigger the onion. The bigger bulbs tend to flower earlier than the littler ones. These tend to grow longer, and they end up in the long run being a nicer onion than the bigger ones. So when you're picking out your onion sets, if that's the way you're going to go, look for the smaller onions. All right, let's go ahead and wet this down really well. The vermiculite will retain the moisture longer than the regular soil. All right, and that does it. Our onions are planted. So I will update in a couple weeks when they sprout, and then again when I'm getting ready to transplant. I have a bed all ready for them. We have a garlic bed, and the back of it is being saved for the onions. I just have to wait for them to get big enough. All right, until next time. See you later.